Can we please get into locks? I am so ready to get back
Yes.
into locks of the week.
Yes, and I'll talk more about Clemson later because we're going to go into the locks now. But
Ah,
yeah, I tell me I'm stupid, but I have so many locks picked out. Like I have like 9 games picked here. So
wow.
I
Okay.
I tend to do better early in the season, like before Vegas figures all these teams out.
100%.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, there's just a lot of plays out there this week that I like. What do you like for your locks this week?
Okay, so a game that I was really tempted to go on, but I'm staying away from it because I'm not sure is the Utah Florida game. I already talked about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not betting on it. I'm very, very tempted to bet on it, and you could talk me into Florida covering that so easily, but no, I'm a principled
No.
man, and I'm staying away from that game on the road with having the extra travel. No, stay away from Florida, Utah. You don't know which way that one's going to go. I'm going all in on Tennessee covering 28 points against Virginia.
I
It's
can
a
get you
neutral site.
27 and a half.
27 and a half is key because like that's right under that nice 4 touchdown mark. That's huge for
Yes.
me. It's they say it's a neutral site. It's in Nashville, Tennessee. Like this
Yeah.
is going to be 85% Tennessee fans. Like Virginia ain't traveling for this. This is going I think there's a lot of good energy around the Tennessee program right now. I think they cover. Like I don't see a world that Virginia covers this. So like yeah, I'm all in on Tennessee. I have a fairly almost too high, like a suspiciously high amount of confidence in this pick. So yeah, I have the Volunteers covering 27 and a half, which is fantastic when you can get right under that 4 touchdown number.
I will join you on that. This is not as much of a play in Tennessee. This is not a terribly high amount of faith in Tennessee. It's more
Right.
like I'm fading Virginia until Vegas figures out that they're terrible.
Right.
Um, I think Virginia is one of those schools. Like we're going to be talking about them possibly wanting a new coach after this year. I honestly believe that. I liked their program under Bronco Mendenhall. I thought he was a
Yeah.
really good coach.
Right.
I think they're trash. And I think that the Josh Heupel system, like Joe Milton might not be Hendon Hooker, but I think if anybody can make him a good college quarterback, it's probably Josh Heupel. And I trust them to be
Yeah.
solid, and
Sure.
I do not trust Virginia to be anywhere close to that. So I will join you on Tennessee.
Yeah, like you already mentioned, like this is not the Brennan Armstrong, Bronco Mendenhall, Virginia teams that we've seen before. This is we don't think this team's going to be very good. So,
No.
like, yeah, I mean I have agreement there. It feels like a bloodbath.
Do you have a lot of plays, or should I run off some of the lower
No,
profile
no,
ones?
okay. I wasn't. I know you've got so many more. I'll go ahead and throw. I have another one. I have three that I'm on right now. Like feel good about, and then I've got a couple more that I'm just leaning either way, and you can maybe talk me into some of those. I've got a
All right.
couple that I'm almost on, but not quite. So my second highest confidence pick is Tulane over South Alabama. Tulane favored
Ooh.
by 6.5 at home. I think they win. I think they cover. That 6.5 number is tasty if you can get
Mm.
it right under that touchdown mark. I think Tulane. I think yeah. I maybe just being slept on just a little bit. I really like obviously how they finished last year. I think they'll bring that energy into week one. I think they'll win by well over a score. Certainly think they'll win by 6.5. So yeah, I have a lot of confidence in this. I think this is just Vegas sleeping on this one, in my opinion. Vegas is sleeping on Tulane a little bit.
I I'm not going to join you on that at all. I like for your sake the 6.5 number. That's obviously a key number right under a touchdown. I
You
think
don't like
South
this pick? You don't like this pick?
I think South Alabama is actually pretty solid.
Okay.
Tulane's better. Like they got Michael Pratt. Obviously, we know they went to
Yeah.
New Year's Six bowl game last year.
Right.
I, I the fact that this line is not 10 tells me Vegas probably knows something. I don't know. Like I
Okay.
think South Alabama is pretty solid.
I think Vegas would know something if this was a couple of weeks in, but I think it's important to trust your gut early on in earlier weeks
Fair.
because like I think it takes a little bit for him to get caught up. That's the hunch I'm playing. You're not going to talk me off of this one.
Yeah, I'm not trying to talk you off of it. I'm just not going to join you on it. So,
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
my next pick is Iowa. Now we have established we
Oh
are an
no.
Iowa podcast
Come on.
this year. I got Iowa minus 24.5 against Utah
Oh
State.
yeah.
Disrespectful. They're way better than Utah State. That defense is
Okay.
amazing. Cade McNamara will get them to at least 25 points because that's
No.
what That's what they need to, we've talked about that enough. But Iowa,
Yeah.
I think that they are clearly at least 4 touchdowns better in this game. I think Utah State is not all that good, and Iowa will win that game solidly.
Did you know that McNamara is probably not playing week 1?
Really?
Yeah. I saw that just somewhere the other day. It's so many of these things can be late. Double check that if you would, but the line at 25 points I thought was interesting because that's right at where Iowa needs to get total like offensive points to stay on pace. The over under at 45 is low. It's one of the lowest ones you'll see out there. Utah State has had good teams periodically. Not always. They haven't always been consistent, but Utah State can be a bit of a fight. This is in Iowa City. I understand where you're coming from. I'm not touching this though. Like, no, I'm not. I like Iowa overall as a team. I'm not. No, I'm staying away. I'm having to talk myself into this. We're not going in on the Hawkeyes. Not week 1. It's too early.
Oh man, that's a little scary. I did not realize McNamara is possibly not playing. I'm going to stick with it since I said it so vehemently and forcefully. So I'll just go ahead and ride that pick. We'll see what happens. But
okay.
Yeah. What do you have next?
Okay, so here is the last one that I'm feeling excellent about. This is Penn State. I have Penn State covering 20.5 at home against West Virginia. I think West Virginia I think they're a barn fire. I do. I think it was a little bit, it's almost disgraceful what they're doing to the coach, in my opinion. Like, they wanted to fire him a year ago. Like, fire the coach so he doesn't have to come back for another lame duck season is kind of where I'm at with it. I think Penn State's really good too. Like, part of it is I just think Penn State's a wagon. So part of it's me believing in Penn State, and part of it is me fading West Virginia a little bit. So yeah, I have Penn State winning and covering. That's a lock of the week.
I found a -20 for you, so that helps a little bit.
Sure.
I like, for that sake, again, I like the sake for your sake, the number right under a key number. All 3 of your picks are right under a key number.
Yeah.
I'm not touching it just because I see some variance there. I could see the first game under Drew Allar at quarterback. I could see them just kind of going nice and easy, get out of there with a comfortable 18-point win and not show too much. But yeah, Penn State's probably going to win the game by 3 touchdowns. So I don't hate your pick. I just won't join you on that because it scares me a little bit too much. Okay, my next pick is Liberty. They are a 9.5-point favorite against Bowling Green. I think Liberty is a little undervalued because they kind of quit last year once Hugh Freeze was clearly leaving.
Right.
So I think some of the systems that Vegas uses are going to undervalue them early in the year because they looked really bad in some of their games late last year after they clearly quit on the season. I think, again, that's like under a key number, which 10 points is a nice number. They're favored by 9.5 against Bowling Green. I think Liberty is clearly better than Bowling Green. Jamie Chadwell's a really good coach. That was a really good hire for them after losing Hugh Freeze. I'll take Liberty -9.5.
Okay. Don't hate it. I have no problems with that. I do agree with you, like the undervalued part. Like like there's a lot of all the energy was Hugh Freeze leaving to go to Auburn. And then like when that energy left, it sometimes just depletes people. And by the way, just because a team is favored or not favored, or Vegas values them or doesn't value them, sometimes that also has to do with where the money's at. You know what I'm saying? Like Vegas has to also they want to have a nice line that's at least close to the middle. You know, like where are the people at? And where do the people value these teams too? Like that also plays a part. So yeah, no, don't hate it. I'm staying away from that one though.
Sure. I got another one. Some of these are just like games I'm not even going to think about watching, but some of these lines just stuck out to me. This one as well, I'm not watching a second of this game, but Boston College -8 versus Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
Boston College, there's still a little chunk of me that trusts Jeff Hafley to at least get some. Like last year, they had horrific injury luck. I don't know that they're really going to miss Dracovic all that much. I think they believe in their quarterback. I think that they're clearly they're not a good team necessarily, but they're definitely they're at least 2 scores better than Northern Illinois. I think. So I'll take Boston College -8. I don't love it. I mean, obviously you'd like 7 better, but to me, it would have to be like 10.5 for me to stay away from it. And at -8, I'll take Boston College.
I have no problem with that. Yeah, you could almost. It's home game too for Boston College. Yeah, you could almost talk me into that one, but let's just see. You've got a couple of more yet. Just rattle those
Oh
off, and
yeah.
then
Oh
maybe I'll
yeah.
jump on yet.
Let's see. What's the grossest one I have left here? Ooh, yes, here. Okay.
Okay.
Rutgers against Northwestern. Rutgers is favored
Wow.
by 6.5 points. I think
Come on.
Rutgers is better than a couple teams in the Big Ten, and especially Northwestern. Northwestern,
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody quite will. Vegas is going to take a little while to catch up to how bad Northwestern is going to be this year.
Yeah. No, I agree.
With everything that went down with that program, and I think it's a tire fire. I think they went 1-11 this last year, and they might struggle to go 1-11 this year. And Rutgers is not. I'm not even thinking all that much about it. It's a key number right under a touchdown. Give me Rutgers minus 6.5 against Northwestern. Not a game you should watch if you value your sanity.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah.
Sunday game. That's a Sunday noon kickoff. Yeah. I will join you. I will
Yes.
join you on that one. I also agree. We are fading. It's not so much that we believe in Rutgers. We are heavily fading Northwestern after the debacle of an offseason that they had. Yeah, I agree. 6.5 is tasty. You love when you're right under that touchdown number. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. Another one I won't be watching. Texas Tech minus 13.5 against Wyoming.
Yeah.
A lot of hype for Texas Tech this year. I don't really buy it completely, but I think they're definitely 2 touchdowns better than Wyoming. I like it because it's a key number, minus 13.5, just under the 2 touchdown mark. I think they're clearly a top tier team in the Big 12, and Wyoming is a group of 5 school. I like Texas Tech to cover that.
I have no problem with that, but I am not betting on Texas Tech. Not this early. No, not week one. Staying away.
All right. NC State against UConn. UConn made a bowl game last year. They were solid. NC State's going to wipe the floor with them. They're favored by 14.5. Take NC State. I think they're going to cover that.
Okay. I have no problems with that
Okay.
either. No, I have no problems with that.
Okay.
Yeah, agreement.
I've got 2 more. You've got to join me on these 2. I'm saving the
Okay.
2 big games for last. I'm
All
taking
right.
South Carolina against North Carolina. They're
I know.
2.5 point underdogs. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's a little scary because maybe Vegas knows something, but I think that the line should be flipped. I think South Carolina should be favored by 2.5, and then I would not take it at all. I would be scared. But with them being a 2.5 point underdog, I will take South Carolina.
Let me hear the
Join
other
me.
one. Let me hear the other one first.
All right. Clemson minus 12.5 against Duke.
No.
I think Clemson is 2 touchdowns better than Duke. I think Duke was one of the luckiest teams in the country as far as turnover luck last year, right up there with USC. I'm not saying Duke was not good last year. They had 9 wins. I don't think they were actually a 9-win team. I think that Clemson is clearly 2 touchdowns better than them. Duke can still have a really good season by their standards and make a bowl game and all of that, and also be 2 touchdowns worse than the best team in the league. So I'll take Clemson to cover 12.5.
This one's the closest that I would come to agreeing with you and jumping on again. I already have 4. Like, I'm a principled man. I don't go all into these. I agree with you. The probability is high that Clemson wins and covers, or definitely more than, if I was pushed to one side or the other, I'm going Clemson. But this is week 1. I'm not going to get pushed around yet. No, I'm saying no, I don't need this. I'm staying at my 4 locks. I'm a principled man. We're not just throwing money around here. I'm staying with my 4.
What are your other games that you were like on the fence about?
Okay, so do you have any thought at all on LSU Florida State? Any thought at all? LSU favored by 2.5. Agreement. I was just staying away. Like that was my, it's just like, it's just a little too much. Here's one that I looked at. Baylor covering 27.5 against Texas State. This is in Waco. I was on the edge on that one. That one was one that I was like, I could almost get there. I ended up staying away from it. And then hang on, I had one more here as well, which I also did not pull on. UMass covering the 35 points. We saw UMass had a win last week. That is big for them. Massachusetts is not I mean, they've been viewed to be the worst team in football, or at least one of the bottom 3 worst teams in football. That line's at 35.5. UMass coming off a win. They're 1-0. this is the first game of Hugh Freeze. I was tempted to take UMass covering 5 touchdowns. I mean, yeah, covering 5 touchdowns. I was very
Tyson
tempted.
Pubichan, man.
I stayed away. I stayed away because it's about being principled. I'm staying away. I'm only going with things I'm really confident in. But that was a lean for me as well. Yeah.
By the way, SP Plus has Baylor winning that game by 31.5. So pretty comfortably covering the spread there if
Yeah.
SP Plus is accurate. So that would not be a bad pick by you. Yeah. I respect the 4 picks. I guess I take a different approach where I've struggled down the stretch the last couple of years after hot starts. So I'm gonna see if I can get that hot start again, and maybe take advantage of a few things that some of the more casual bettors out there are not really paying attention to.
I like that. I know I have no problem with that. I don't know what you finished with, what your record ATS was last year. I know I did finish with a winning record, which was big for me personally. That's hard to do sometimes. You have to really grind to put a bunch of picks out there, document them, and come out with a win. That can be hard to do over the course of a year. So yeah, Vegas does catch up. They catch up to everyone. You do want to win these games early. Get out to an early lead. That's important.